So, hello, folks. Welcome to our speaker sessions at Hackout 2021. We'll be going live in some time. We're waiting for more people to join in. Till then, you can spam the link everywhere and like like the stream and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. That'll help more people who are interested in speaker sessions to join in. Uh, we have an amazing speaker lineup today. We have Parag Jain from Headout, we have Pooja Malvi from Lion, and Pratim Bhosle, who is an upcoming dev advocate at Dash.ai, and also our own Kushi Kumar from Headout, who will be speaking about an exciting topic today. So, yeah, keep liking the stream and subscribe to our channel. And yeah, we have Parag Jain in our stream live now. He is the VP of marketing and ops at Headout. He's been instrumental in driving retention and organic growth of our company, and he'll be talking about all of it today live. So I'll be getting Parag live on now. Hey Parag, I can't hear you.
Hey Neil, what's up? How are you doing?
Hey man, how are you doing?
Good, good, not bad.
Nice, nice. Where are you from? Where are you live from now?
I came back to my hometown last week from Bangalore, so I'm in Ludhiana currently.
Oh, oh wow, that's
Yeah,
amazing. That's amazing. Nice,
yeah.
nice. So, can you tell us what you'll be talking about at Hackout today?
Definitely. The topic of discussion is non-branded organic growth and specifically how it applies to um, engineering and product, and how engineering and product should be central, should play a pivotal part in driving organic growth for any product company. And um, the inspiration behind the topic is the realization that over the last 5 years, we have had a chance to work with amazing engineers, amazing product people, um, who know more complicated stuff than anything anyone can ever imagine. But um, sadly, SEO, or search engine marketing and organic growth, which is the primary growth channel for so many product companies these days, and it's so basic to learn that it hardly takes an hour or two for any basic engineer
Hmm.
to get up to speed with. That part of the knowledge is missing. And I have seen that engineers who come with that basic knowledge and can be pushed in that direction play a pivotal part in ensuring that any piece of code that's created is designed to be discovered, deciphered well by search engines from day one. And that solves so many problems because you're literally fighting with um, every internet company in the world to
Exactly.
come on page one. And we have had cases wherein we have just gone cold and our pages can't be seen by Google, can't be discovered by Google, because we made one basic mistake in a piece of code that just made our code undiscoverable, so to say.
Exactly. Yeah, that's such an interesting topic for at least front end engineers a lot because you need to know how SEO works, how organic growth happens, and a lot more about it. And I've actually worked with Parag with our AMP infrastructure. I've had set up with Next.js and stuff. So it was a very cool experience working with you. So like
Thanks, man.
yeah, let's hear more about it. And you can go ahead and share your screen if you have a slide.
Definitely. Are we starting?
Yeah, we'll start now.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm Parag, currently heading the marketing and ops at Headout. As I said, we'll be talking about non-branded organic growth in relation to how product and engineering can play a pivotal role in driving that. Everything that I have learned so far comes from doing experiments at Headout over the last 5 years, whereby we have taken organic as a channel from literally zero when we started 5 years ago to $1 million a month, and that has been pivotal in solving the issues of customer acquisition, solving making unit economics solid, and so on. So getting organic right is was sort of mission critical for Headout, and all the reasons that we'll talk about on why organic is such an important customer acquisition channel were applicable to Headout 10 times over. What's interesting is that we have never had a formal SEO team, so to say, till this point. And everything that we have done has been built around the hypothesis that all the engineers, all the product people, all the writers and marketing managers need to know the basics of SEO. And the goal is to ensure, as I said earlier, every piece of code, every product feature that we roll out needs to be optimized for search engines to easily consume from day one. And on the other side, every piece of content that we write needs to come with a promise that when users click, they find a lot of value on the other side. So, yeah, over the next 40 minutes, we'll first talk about and reestablish why um, organic is important as a channel, and then we'll talk about some basic SEO concepts that can sort of become a starting point for a lot of us who want to dig slightly deeper, because even though the topic is fairly straightforward, 40 minutes is not enough. Let me just share my screen. Awesome. So assuming you can see my screen, let's start with why organic growth. Um, Most obvious reason is it's free web traffic. The cost of writing content generally is significantly lesser if you compare with the ROI, and if you compare with almost any acquisition channel like affiliate, paid marketing, offline marketing, and so on. And it's lot more viable than building a massive brand, which, unless you are throwing millions of dollars in running TV ads, is extremely difficult to make and takes anywhere between 5 to 10 years, and is not something that's possible, especially for a company like Headout, which is a global brand. We have customers from 180 countries that are transacting with us every year. So it'll take years to build that kind of a massive brand, wherein literally every time someone thinks about buying an experience, they start their journey from Headout. Second, and more importantly, this is something that's always seen as negative for SEO or organic growth. We always feel that it takes an year, it takes 2 years for this to become a meaningful channel. But in a lot of ways, this helps you create that defensibility or a competitive moat that's not possible with some of the channels like paid, wherein, okay, if you have the product, someone can start pumping in the same amount of dollars and get the same amount of ROI in relatively a lesser amount of time. The third thing that makes organic growth super interesting is the fact that it's compounding in nature. We'll talk more about this slightly later, but the essence of this is, as you move from page 2 to page 1, and from the second half of the search results to first half of the search results, at every step, at every rank increase, you start getting, or you start seeing, an exponential number of clicks from that same silo or same set of keywords. The fourth thing that makes this interesting is the fact that you can target mid top funnel, which basically means that you can start showing up in the search journey or the purchase journey of a potential guest at a relatively starting point. Um, so someone is searching for um, where to go, what's my next trip going to be, or what are the things to do in Dubai, and so on. Organic can start getting you the eyeballs that something like paid can't in most cases, because people are not ready to buy at that stage. And that also helps you convert your paid traffic better, because now the potential customers already know your brand. Finally, this is something that uh, not a lot of us realize, but you can literally create your own um, demand using organic. There are so many companies that have done this at a massive scale in the past. Wikipedia, Amazon, TripAdvisor. No one used to, when TripAdvisor started creating pages for every hotel, no one used to search for hotel reviews. When Amazon created an infra for selling anything and everything under the sun, people were not searching for buying things online, and same for Wikipedia. Uh, More recently, Zapier is doing the same thing with how you can integrate SaaS tool A with SaaS tool B, or A with B and B with C, and so on, which is something that not a lot of people were searching before Zapier started creating content. And now that people know that it's an option, it has sort of become a blue ocean for them that's relatively uncompeted at this point. Same thing with Jiffy. So, assuming that now that we are on the same page, that organic is important, let's look at how do search engines work, because it sort of becomes a starting point for understanding how to optimize the product for search engines. Any questions so far? I've been checking the messages. Okay. Um, so what's important to understand here is that Google has created the most massive library in the world. And what it is basically doing is there are trillions of web pages that are indexed really well. And when anyone searches for something, Google is trying to access its library of trillions of web pages and showing the most relevant results in that order. So to do this, let's look at what are the different algorithms or different parts of this search engine infra, and how do they interact with each other. So everything starts with discovery. So there's a discovery algorithm of sorts, wherein every time Google finds a new link, it can be from a sitemap, or it can be from a page that it recrawled which had a new link, or it can just be a rogue link on social media, and so on. All those links directly go to the queue of sorts. The discovery algorithm is not indexing or not crawling those pages as yet. It's just putting it in the list with other metadata on how that particular link was discovered. The second thing that happens is the crawl algorithm comes into play, wherein first it's deciding the links that were discovered, are they important enough, where were they discovered, how many links were pointing to them, what was the domain authority of the link, of the underlying page, which is associated with the ABC domain. So all this helps Google decide whether this link is important enough and whether it should be crawled right away, or it should go further down in the queue, and so on. So the third part is indexing. And what Google is doing at this point is deciphering the content of that particular page and putting it in a library by tagging it accordingly. So it's trying to understand all the structured data that you're providing, all the content that you're providing, all the links that are pointing to it. So all those are connected with that particular page, along with whatever final DOM content that Google was able to read after it crawled, and it puts it in a right space for it to be pulled back later when a user searches for it. Finally, the ranking algorithm is what ties everything together. And what it is doing is it's taking into context what the user searched, what was the intent behind that search, what was the context behind that search. Was that in English? Was that in some other language? Is it being done from Bangalore, or is it being done from Paris? What's the search history of that particular user who's searching it? At times Google literally changes your words that are keyed in, because the recent BERT algorithm that came in has made Google's ranking algorithm, a lot more powerful in understanding the intent and the context behind what it's trying to search. And all this then, when plugged together, helps Google come up with a list of like top 10 results, 11 to 20 results, 21 to 30 results, and so on. And then every time Google is showing a particular set of results, there's a feedback loop coming into play, wherein, um, let's say a particular link was at number 5, but every time Google shows these results, number 7 link is the one that gets more significantly more number of clicks than number 5. Eventually that number 7 link will start coming at number 5. Or let's say the number 5 link, whenever users click on that link, they bounce off that page and come back to the search result really fast and click on something. So all that tells Google that the user's intent was not satisfied or solved, um, basis what the user was trying to do here. Okay, any questions so far? Cool. Let's continue. Let's try to see um, how this helps you create a flywheel, how the understanding of discover, crawl, index, and rank helps you create a flywheel of sorts, and helps you key in everything. So if you start putting this together, what happens is that you only come to a rank stage once you have solved for discover, crawl, and index, which basically means that your pages, your website, your entire product can be amazing at everything. Means if the users were to come, they would spend several minutes, their intent would be solved. The content quality is amazing, the usability is amazing, and it has been written by experts all over. But if that page can't be crawled and can't be accessed by Google, there's no way it can show up in the search results. So even though a lot of people say that, since this is slow in the initial days, we need to solve for, let's say, paid marketing as a customer acquisition channel, and organic or search engine marketing can come in later. I'm of a strong opinion that just the basic understanding of some of these concepts can ensure that you are laying the groundwork properly, and ensuring that your pages can be crawled from day one, your pages can be indexed from day one, there's no duplication, um, which are like the first three basic sets. And in more ways than not, all these three steps being done correctly all the time can ensure that you already start making the transition from fifth to 10th page, from not ranking to fifth to 10th page, and then second to fifth page, and so on. That way you are not losing time, your product is not losing time, and as soon as uh, you are in a position where you can start optimizing content, start solving for internal links, start creating silos, and so on, you can literally start from that position and start pushing the needle and getting organic traffic at a much faster scale. Um, so looking at the funnel on the left hand side, crawl accessibility, pages in Google's index, and then solving for mobile, because Google has moved to a mobile first SEO paradigm, meaning that Google's crawlers are deciphering your content using Googlebot mobile rather than Googlebot desktop for 99% of the web, ensuring that there's no duplication, internal or external. And then moving to on page optimization, keyword targeting. Are there a set of pages that solve for a specific intent? um, can Google understand that this is what you are talking about when it comes to this page? These are the first four basic steps and extremely easy to do. Once you do that, you can start tweaking and you can start working towards an improved user experience, ensuring that your content keeps getting optimized, so the searchers that are coming and end up satisfied and so on. And finally, you can means when you have to go, depending on which niche you are in, how competitive it is, you would need X number of backlinks. Some of them start coming organically if your content is good. You need to ensure that your content is share worthy. You need to ensure that structured data and all those elements are taken care of so that you stand out on SCRPs. So this helps you create the entire funnel and helps you do this journey from not being visible on any of the Google results to coming to page one, and then making that journey from 10 to 5 to 2 to 1. What is also interesting is that 99% of the users don't go beyond page one, meaning that if there are 100,000 searches happening on a specific keyword, only 1% of them will even click on anything on page 2 and beyond. So those 99% of uh, those users are restricted to clicking on page 1. So what that means is, while you are working or laying the groundwork of creating something that can help you convert the organic growth into a flywheel, uh, first year or 6 to 9 months or 12 to 18 months, depending on how competitive your niche is, would often go into just laying the groundwork. You won't be seeing um, the consequent amount of traffic basis the effort that you're putting in, and it becomes like a long game, which, as I said earlier, also helps you create a moat, because the competition can't just decide overnight that okay, they have to make organic growth a meaningful channel and do it overnight. It becomes like a long play, long term goal, medium term to long term goal. And even on page one, what you would realize is, okay, most results in the second half of page one um, are only getting 5 to 10% of the clicks, and then first result is getting 30% of clicks, second result is getting 20%, third 10%, and so on. And depending on what keyword that we are looking, 30% to 40% traffic goes to paid. Cool. So now that we have this out of our way, let's just talk about some of the technical SEO basics. I'll skim through some of them because I know most of you would know uh, these basics. But yeah, so robots.txt is a file that's public, and you can access it for almost any website by just typing robots.txt at the end of the homepage or the main domain name. This is the text file that tells Google um, whether or not its crawler is allowed to crawl this specific website or not. And within that, you can block specific sections of the website that you think should not be accessed by Google's crawler. For example, in Headout's case, we have at this point blocked Google's crawlers from crawling any of our book pages because, and the objective is just the crawl budget optimization. Um, there are several other use cases whereby you can use robots.txt, but it's not meant to be a tool wherein you're literally blocking one specific page or two specific pages. It's meant to block a specific section of the website. There are other tools like Canonical and NoIndex that should be used for optimizing things at a page level. Let's talk about Canonical and Index, and what do they mean for the end users and the Google. So Canonical is a tool, as you can see at number 3 here, which is used for hiding duplicate content. There are several use cases wherein you might need almost two same duplicates or two duplicate copies of one type of a content, or near duplicate copies of one type of a content. Maybe you have a specific landing page for paid, another landing page for organic. Maybe you are sending the same content to your affiliate partners via API or any of the other means. In all these cases, Canonical link on the duplicate page pointing to the original page is telling Google that you can ignore page B and page A is the original page. Users can see both. They can interact with page B as well as page A, assuming they directly land on page B, but Google is only seeing page A. So, with canonical out of the way, another nearly similar concept is no index. What no index is doing is telling Google that this particular page should not appear in the search engine results ever. Just remove it from your library. We don't want you to show it to users in the search engine results. Users can still see the no index URL, but Google will only see the final. Google won't show that particular URL. This helps you in avoiding cannibalization, because in a lot of cases, let's say you created nearly similar content, it doesn't need to be duplicate, but you want Google to focus on just one version and ignore those 5 other versions which are looking to be nearly the same. And this can and all those pages can be removed from Google's index, so that Google can concentrate all the authority on that one specific page. And finally, moving to the top, 301 redirect is fairly straightforward. In this case, when we redirect, 301 stands for a permanent redirect, 302 stands for a temporary redirect. When we redirect a URL from A to B, both users and Google can't see the original URL. So this is just meant used heavily in cases of migrations, or a particular page changes, or a particular product page changes from location A to location B, and we can use this in bulk. Any questions and comments? Or okay, Ekansh, Neil, can you confirm that I'm not missing anything?
Hello.
Hey, no questions so far, right?
Yeah, yeah, no questions.
Got it. Cool. Let's move to some more specific concepts. We started the conversation saying that when we are laying the groundwork, we need to ensure that the pages are accessible. And I'm clubbing the three first algorithms that we talked about in defining the search engine into one. And what we are saying is that um, Google should be able to discover all the URLs, Google should be able to crawl them, and Google should be able to index them. It's fairly straightforward to check this, because um, means at the end of the day, the concepts that we talked about, nothing being blocked in robots.txt, pages not being no indexed, pages not being not having canonical links, as long as those basics are taken care of, you can literally go to Google and check for any specific URL or the entire domain by using the site operator, and know roughly ballpark how many URLs for that specific domain are in Google's index. So if they are in Google's index, it basically means that they were discovered, Google was able to crawl them. And if you want to know the exact specific number, Webmasters is the place to go. But if you don't have the access to Webmaster account, you can literally use a site operator for a specific URL, or a specific subdomain, or the entire subdomain, and so on. It's fairly powerful command, and can tell you the exact nature of a particular website's organic state, at least help you do a sanity check of are there things that are um, really really wrong for that specific website in a quick time. Another thing that's worth checking is crawl budget. So again, accessible using the Webmaster, this tells you how many URLs for your particular domain are being crawled on your website on a daily basis. um, how much time is Google spending on each page, and so on. Generally what you see is, as your website becomes more and more important in Google's eyes, it starts spending more crawl budget on your website, and the number of pages being crawled keep increasing. The second related thing that we should check in this order is, can the pages be read? Okay, the pages were crawlable, but is Google able to read all the content? And this is something that I've seen impacts a lot of websites, and goes unnoticed and leads to a lot of issues if Google is not able to actually read the content that you are seeing. So if you open a particular web page and you see XYZ content, you can't be 100% sure that the Google or any other search engine bot is also able to read the exact same content. When I say read the exact same content, I'm referring to links that are visible on that page, the actual content, the images, and so on. So again, you can either go to webmaster account and enter a specific URL and see what uh, what's the specific version of the page Google is able to read, along with the HTML and the errors, JavaScript errors encountered on that page. Or you can just go to a mobile friendly test tool or rich results tool, which gives the same results. You just enter the URL and you will be able to see what is Google able to read. Most of the issues that come here, in my experience, generally stem from using client side rendering improperly. Uh, what I've seen over the last 4 or 5 years, Google is constantly becoming better at reading JavaScript. Uh, but if you had an option to choose between server side rendering, which renders the entire set of code um, in one step, versus client side rendering, server side rendering is always a more search engine friendly way to do that. Obviously there are several other nuances that you can decide at a product level on what to go with. But if you were to be, let's say, uh, just do it and not worry a lot about it, server side rendering is the way to go. Given that we only have 10 minutes, I'll skip page speed because most of you would know it better than I do. And we'll get back to it if we have time at the end. But let's just move to the next step. So, but while skipping page speed, I want to emphasize on the fact that in most cases, as the websites keep getting more complicated, we continue to use more JavaScript elements and so on. You are not expected to be 100 on 100 on the page speed scores. What I've seen is, as long as the website is not super slow, as in it literally takes time, and you have to wait for 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds after every click, you are okay from an SEO perspective. Obviously there are a lot of case studies which tell us that every second increase leads to an X amount of impact on conversion rates, bounce rates, and so on. So all those are valid reasons to optimize for page speed. But as long as you are somewhere between 20 to 40, uh, in my experience, this is never the lowest hanging fruit, because the amount of resources that go into optimizing for page speed, there are always easier ways to win the search engine game, at least at this point. Moving on, we talked about duplicate content. What that does is, um, and that duplication can happen externally or internally. So what that does is, Google gets confused on whether this is the content that's original or the other content is original, and then um, it can lead to manual penalties or your website going lower, because Google will just assume that all your content is duplicate and there's no original content. It happened with us, and we learned it the hard way 2 years ago, when at that point HDFC Bank was had a higher domain authority, was a much bigger website than ours was, and they were pulling all the content from the API. And if you picked any line from our experience page and put it in search results, you would see both the results coming in. And the solution was easy. They had to put a canonical tag on every page, as we talked about, pointing to the corresponding header page, but it leads to real implications. Similarly, internal duplication can occur, um, at multiple levels. There can be specific URL parameters appended at the end, which lead to duplicate versions of the same URL if those URL parameters aren't handled properly, or HTTP versus HTTPS issues, or there can be like four versions, one with www, one with non www. So all these redirects and issues are like low hanging fruits that can be handled when we are creating a product on day one, so that we don't have to suffer unnecessarily for these later. Um, okay, now that we have the basics sorted, let's start looking at things that will help us drive, or that will help us push, that will push us from page 2 to page 1 and further in page 1. So the most important thing from an SEO perspective is the entity structure, because as soon as your website starts becoming humongous and there are a lot of pages, we need to make it easy for Google to understand how is each section related to other section, and what are the silos, what is this specific section of the website talking about, and how is it related to the other thing. Is it complete in nature? Is it the most comprehensive source of content when it comes to, let's say, Broadway or electronic products or whatever that one topic that you are talking about? So the way to do that is to really invest in the entity structure and entity relationships, and think about what are the different type of pages going to be, how are they related to the other pages, can we are there clear silos, and are these entity structures linked to each other. So for example, let's talk about Headout as an example again. We have collections and points of interest like Eiffel Tower, Colosseum, and so on. And then we also have categories like theme parks, museums, and so on. And then there are levels like cities, Rome, Paris. So all these need to be linked together in a way that the user can navigate from point A to point B. And by that same definition, the search engine scroller can navigate from point A to point B. And using number of links that are pointing to a specific page, we are able to tell Google that this page is more important than another page. This topic is significantly more detailed, and generally what makes or breaks a particular website, or the amount of traffic that you can get organically. I would really encourage everyone to look at, to go slightly deeper here. Um, Once you have, let's say, created this entity structure, um, some of the concepts that become important, or the metadata that is associated with each link that is connecting page A to page B to page C, are firstly the anchor text. um, the second is location on that specific page. Is it coming in a header? Is it coming in a footer where there are bulk links? Is it coming in a sidebar? Is it coming in the first paragraph, and so on? And which is the page that is linking to it? So links from the home page are a lot more valuable, because generally it has more number of links from coming from other places. So the page authority of your home page is almost always better than any other page, and hence the links that you're distributing from the home page are the most valuable. um, while there's a lot of nuance to it, some of the basic rules that should be followed while defining or while optimizing for internal links is, we need to ensure that there are no orphan pages, meaning there are pages that you have added in your sitemap are important, but they are not linked at all from any page on the website. That's like almost always ensuring that those orphan pages are not going to get any love from the search engines. The second is that the crawl depth, which is basically the number of hops Google's crawler or any search engine crawler is going to take from home page to reach to that page, should ideally be less than 4. So the rule of thumb is, you need to ensure 80% of your pages can be reached in less than 4 hops. if any search engine's bot is starting from homepage. That basically ensures that the link equity or the link juice that each of those links are getting are rationalized. And finally, we need to have some kind of a silo structure, which basically is saying that uh, the entities that are linked to each other. So let's say, using the same example, if we are talking about Colosseum as a point of interest, and there are multiple aspects that are associated with the Colosseum. There's a experience page about your Colosseum tickets, and there is an arena floor. Then there are shoulder pages on the blogs that are talking about Colosseum. All these should be linked, and they become one branch and helps Google um, associating that particular content. And then at your parent node level, they should be associated with their sister nodes. So Colosseum should be associated with Vatican and Borghese Gallery, which are other points of interest in Rome, and not directly with Burj Khalifa in most cases, which is another point of interest in a completely different part of the world. Okay, there are other topics that I wanted to cover, but given that I only have 5 minutes, wanted to quickly check, are there any specific questions anyone has? Sorry, so the first question from Manas is how to prevent from negative SEO. So it's given more importance than it deserves. Negative SEO is a thing that used to be commonplace 5 years, 6 years. Google's algorithms have become a lot smarter in figuring out, um, are there any specific attacks that are happening from other websites, etc., which are negative in nature. um, at this point, both from an external competition perspective and from your perspective, black hat SEO or negative SEO is completely useless. There's no point in spending time and energy in acquiring paid backlinks that come from websites that are not related to you at all, or um, the focus has to be organic. There's no point stuffing keywords that used to be the case 15 years ago, 10 years ago, because Google has become a lot, Google's algorithm, and same holds true for some of the other search engines as well, has become a lot more smarter in figuring out whether uh, let's say keywords are being added for just adding them, or are is there specific context on that specific page that can help. So a conscious question is, what are the some what are some common problems that startups run into while trying to scale organic growth? One of some of the most common problems are, we start expecting results on day one. It's a long play. As I said, it takes like 2 years, 3 years. So if you are starting, and if there's some sort of an existential crisis, what I would recommend is you start from topics. You either create your own blue ocean, which is not which is not being competed, or you start from topics and niches which are not super hard to compete in. If you were in Headout's place, no point going for things to do in ABC City, which has 10,000 results, 10,000 really good pieces of content already there. You can't expect to rank there on day one. That's one. The second would just be not spending enough time and energy on getting the technical SEO basics right. Um, we have also learned this the hard way, wherein we kept wondering our content is amazing. When I say amazing, as in it's better than the results that are already there on 3 or 4 pages. But there are almost always some underlying reasons that need to be solved that are preventing you from getting there. So investing inordinate amount of resources in getting the technical SEO right, because that will help you um, get things right in the long run. Choosing a technical stack that's not super complicated and useful, so some of the energy, time and energy also needs to be spent there, because uh, if you start doing this 5 years after you have already written a lot of code, it almost always goes to your back burner, because literally changing anything and everything will take 2 quarters, and there will always be more important things that product and tech needs to do at that point. So investing in making the right choices on day one, as far as your tech stack is concerned, and um, figuring out, is there a blue ocean strategy that's applicable for your specific product that you can start investing in, rather than competing on something that's already being competed to death, would be my suggestions. One final question: while running an AB, what is a checklist we should follow to not run into problems with SEO? So ABs in SEO are not as straightforward to run, because what's happening here is that the technical infra required to let's say you are showcasing one specific product or one specific code to Google's bot. So the only way you will run an AB is, okay, half of my pages have this kind of a title or these kind of links, and half of the pages have these kind of links. Given that these are infrastructural decisions, creating two different versions is super difficult. Second, because there are so many different factors at play, even if you get a result A or result B, you would not be able to specifically say, okay, you will not be able to conclude any results from your AB results. The second problem is the time frame. So typically what happens is, with most ABs, when you are doing something and you have two pieces of code, you start getting feedback on day one. But with SEO or search engine marketing, you might see the results sometimes 6 months later. Okay, you did this change and now it has started working 6 months later. There are some products like Splitmetrics which are doing a great job in opening this up, but I haven't seen a lot of successful AB results wherein even at a big company level they are able to conclude something. So for startups, that's not something that you should be investing a lot of resources on. The only ABs that are easy to run are the click-through rate ones, wherein you are playing with meta titles and meta descriptions and seeing what is getting higher click-through rates. So Devshri is asking, do you think that startups are losing focus, trying to win the search engine game and follow trends through paid marketing growth? Um, So, as I said, generally what happens is, if I was building something new, paid marketing helps getting the initial feedback loop running a lot faster than search engine marketing can do for almost any product. What that does is, because in the first 2 years, it's important to get to a product market fit. So I would not say that paid marketing growth should not be focused on. Um, the only thing that what I was suggesting during my entire set of 40-45 minutes was that the basics need to be correctly done on day one, so that when you know that, okay, now is the time to start getting results from search engine marketing, you are not starting from point zero. You haven't wasted the last 2 years, because all the basics are already sorted. You're already ranking on page 2, page 3, and now you can just um, kick start the game and go higher. Cool. I think I already have taken 5 more minutes than intended. Neil, Ekant, over to you.
Yeah, Parag, that was such a cool session, and we learned so much from you. Like the whole game of like growth is very interesting, and it's very like building something out like engineering. Like every firm has its specific context, and you need to like know a lot on how you get through uh, during search results or something. So yeah, thanks for joining us. And people will probably be having like an AMA with Parag on our Discord server. So please do join in. Uh, we have like a channel. So yeah,
Cool. I guess Neil's connection was weak. Yes,
Yeah, I have a
Siddharth.
feeling that is the case. Hey, Parag, thank you so much for your time here. That was a super helpful session.
Great. Thank
Um,
you. Thanks, Siddharth.
yeah, for sure. We'll see you later in Discord. Yeah,
Yeah, cool. Bye.
awesome. Hey, people, I am back. I am Siddharth. I'm taking over from Neil for the time being because he's facing some technical issues. Um, I do want to every time I step on stream, it's like you know that the topic is going to deviate away from engineering and manifest into some other part of what makes a product successful. This time we're looking closer at design, and I was hoping that something that both me as well as the audience watching um, will appreciate is a look into how the design team collaborates with engineering, right? So today we have Pooja Malvi, who works at Learn, and she handles a lot related to design ops as well as inter-team collaboration. And I have a feeling that both me and the audience have a lot to learn from Pooja. So Pooja, um,
Yeah,
are
hi.
you
Hi,
will you
Siddharth.
be sharing your screen?
Yeah, I will. Okay,
Awesome.
thanks for the
So
introduction, Siddharth.
yeah, for sure. Over to you. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll share my screen. Is my screen visible?
it is now.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so today I'll be focusing on the design system and handoff processes. So basically, what I want to touch upon is how do we collaborate between design and engineering team, and how do we ship products, how do we refine those communication streams, and all the stuff. So before we jump into that, let me introduce myself. I have an engineering background. I have turned from engineering to designer. I have been working with startups consistently for 4 plus years, and recently I have deep dived into design systems since February 2019, and I have been working on scaling it, learning more about it, and I'm still at the early stage of it. So this is how I want to streamline this presentation, where I will go on the journey that I went through while discovering what kind of communication we need in order to fulfill our design system scaling and the products we ship. The Before I jump into that, I'll talk about what we do at Learn basically. So Learn has a plethora of education products, and we help enterprises to identify skill gaps through courses, learning paths, submission, and all those staple learning components. And we also provide platform to onboard the enterprise employees efficiently in an easier and holistic way. And we also have a platform that propagates learning culture. Like we have things you can enroll into. You have like learning paths, you have articles you can read, you can have external sources of content on a platform. So this is the kind of products we work with. What is my role at Learn? I am really involved in scaling the design system. So we already have a style guide, we already have some design principles. My job is to scale it at a mature stage where we are combining all the aspects of products which are pertaining to different domains. There are skills, there are submissions, there are learning content, there are community based products and all that. The other specific kind of domain I am into is refining information architectures. So we have a lot of complex problems we products we have. My job is to break down the info and make the interface as easier to read as possible, as easier to consume. And the other really interested in is demystifying the handoff processes. So the majority part of what creating digital product is the developers. They are the ones who are the pioneer of making product. They are the one dealing with the tech and everything. We are the ones providing solutions in a way that is consumable to devs. So basically they are the users, they are the first users of our designs. So how do we manage to make the process very easier? How do we communicate it to them so it's not a robotic process? So before I jump into it, I have categorized the handoff processes in three categories, and this is based on the 4+ years of experience how I've interacted with them. I have been a developer as well, and what kind of structure I look into while taking the designs and how to convert it into a proper product, develop into a proper product. So I have taken inspiration from the movie To All the Handoffs, To All the Boys I've Loved Before. So it's basically called To All the Handoffs I've Done Before. So the first category is basically the ideal one. So ideal one is basically you have clear goals defined into your designs. You have a streamlined process, like you give the handoff design, they take it up, the product cycle is clear, the product managers are involved, and everything is done on the same timeline. The documentation is perfect, the communication is perfect, but it rarely exists. We don't have the opportunity to do such handoffs very often. The second one is the complex one. We deal with every time we need to hand off a design. The complex one is basically we need too much communication or the communication channels are shaky. So we have designs on Figma, we are sending the links on Slack, we have a Notion page of all the product constraints and everything. But how do we communicate to our devs, and how do if the dev cycle changes, how do we incorporate that product document into that cycle? And how do we communicate to a person who has the mentality of ship now and handle later? So there are some things that gets sidelined while doing the complex handoffs, and it requires double communication, because we are documenting stuff on Figma, we are documenting stuff on Notion as well, we are documenting on Slack as well. How do we have a one holistic place for the devs to see? Because at the end of the day, devs are the ones who are going to read what you have done, who are going to see what you have designed, and they're going to make whatever flow you have made, right? So this is the if the channels are if the communication is not very specific, if it is very vague, the things go downside really quickly. So these are the ones we come across very often. The other one is we'll work it out one. The best devs to work with. They are the ones who are collaborative. They are the ones who are MVP focused. They are the ones who are goals, and they understand the goals and they understand the perspective we come up with. They whatever design we make, they want to understand the whys. They want to understand how we made it, how we have reached to a decision. So this is the kind of developers, and this is the kind of relationship we want to cultivate. But how do we do it actually? So so the major part of defining into these three categories, how to understand there are three categories of handoffs. How do we come up with that? And once we come up with that, how do we solve the problems from the first and two? How do we solve the vague one? How do we solve the complex one? How do we reduce those hiccups during the process, right? So in this presentation, I will go to the pointers that has helped us, the help the learn team and the previous team I worked with, to make a holistic kind of process that requires less cluttered communication, less complexity during testing, and we ship things faster as it is. Right. So the first thing I always try to do is communicating intent. What are we trying to solve with this design? So for instance, there's a login page. We want to have a delightful animation on the login button. Devs usually comes up with key. Do we need to do that in the first version? Do we need to so much effort in that particular button to release a simple login page? So if you are able to explain the intent of it, if you are able to explain the purpose of that motion, if you are able to demonstrate that this is providing some value to the login page you are going to ship in the V1 project, then the developers will understand what you're trying to do, and they will help you give a solution that how can we do it faster. And this is completely based on the deadlines we have, because we are a startup, we want to ship faster, we want to put things out there. But there are things that take time, there are things that blocks the timeline for developers. We need to make them understand that why do we want this to be first, and they can provide solution in a very collaborative way. So there's no issue there. But we as a designer need to consider devs as a user first. We need to empathize with them, and we need to, if we are communicating our intent to the users why they need to use our products, we need to do the same with the developers as well. Yeah, so I'll pause for a second. I'll see if there are any questions here up till here. Okay, yeah. So the next point I want to touch upon the handoff process is on early. So at Learn, we have a really good session called like a design exploration session by initiated by one of the designers, Sarvesh. And what we do there is we present ideas, we present very early stage solutions, like 2-3 solutions of a same problem, and we design and product team try to evaluate if you want to go with solution 1 or solution 2. But if you are involving the developers as well on in that stage, in the ideation and exploration stage, they will give so in depth points for or complexity of the problem. They will tell you how complex it is to make the solution 1 and how complex it is to do solution 2, what we can do in B1, what we can do in B2. If we get that feedback, if we get their suggestions in the exploration stage, it is easier for them to develop, it is easier for them to go ahead with the designs we have made, and it is easier, there is less friction in the process, basically. And the next point is being an ally. You're working together. You have a good environment. You have cutting edge. You're working on cutting edge technologies. The developers are really great. The industry we work in is really going fast. We are working in an educational platform, and we already know how much competition is there. But you need to be ally with the developers. The communication doesn't stop once you hand off the design. You have to work with them along with the testing, along with the release documents, along with the product document, everything. And you have to collaborate and see it as a collaboration. Like internally, we design team always collaborate. We help with the iteration, we help with the UI visuals and everything. We need to do that with the devs as well, because they are the ones making it. They are the ones making things happen and releasing the product out there. So this is a really important aspect of handoff process. The other point is keep learning. One of the things I really believe in is whatever handoff process we do, whatever things we demo, whatever exploration we do, everything should have a learning at the end of it. What I mean, making a learning experience out of handoff process. If you so there was an example, the overlays. We wanted to have a blur effect on the overlays, but during the handoff call, during the collaboration with the devs, I got to know that the blur effect doesn't work on few of the browsers like Microsoft or Internet Explorer, I think. So we couldn't go with that decision because it was slowing down the process, slowing down the product in those browsers. So this was a good learning experience for me, that we should not use blurred effect on overlays going ahead. And it was a new thing that I learned in that handoff call. It is a very minute thing, but every time you go on a handoff call, you are learning something. You are learning about new kind of drop down. You're learning a new type of date pickers there exist. The developers tell you the kind of libraries they use, the kind of CSS updates are there. So every time you learn something, you are making your skill set wider. You are getting to know things from their perspective and making your designs perfect that way. So this is the best way to go keep the hand of process ongoing until the product releases or even after that. And these are the four principles that really helped us at Learn to make that product holistic and very less problematic. Yeah. Any questions up until now? Okay. Okay. Yeah. So the next part I want to touch upon is design systems. I'll not go into what design system is or how do we scale the design system. The focus of this presentation will be communicating the principles to devs, because this is how we collaborated while scaling our design system, and what kind of principles we use, what kind of questions we ask during the presentation. These are the things I want to touch upon. So recently we did a huge revamp of our design system. We wanted to bring in the principle of atomic design, that are atoms, molecule, organism, bases, and templates. We were at a stage where the design system was scaling a lot. We had a good amount of token system. We wanted to have context at every empty point. We had some small components already in place, but we needed to scale it. We needed to do a UI revamp of some of the components. We wanted to add some more components as well. So we went ahead with atomic design principles, and we shifted the part into a more mature system, which had like three different stages: atoms, molecules, and organisms. Yeah. So the first thing, this is the presentation deck. I showed it to the new joinees that were coming on board on the design system task. So we all wanted to work on it. We all wanted to make the components. We wanted to revamp the UI. But how do we do it? When do we do it? And why should we do the following things? And why do we want to? So there are a lots of components. If you go to a versatile design link, there would be a lot of components and we don't know where to start. So there was a problem, like if you want to scale it, where do we start? So these are the few questions I presented to the design system team, and we had a long planning sessions, and we discussed what are the problems we are trying to solve and why we want to solve it. So there are lots of forms in our platform. Every form has a different UI, every form had a different heading. So this is the problem we knew that we want to solve, and we want to solve it early, because that is the form it is used very frequently on our platform. Now we know what kind of problem we want to solve. The next question is, do we want to do a UI revamp, or do we want to scale a component and make that form again? So these are the questions we touched, and we wanted to go very specific on each of the problems, so that we could boil down the problem, and we could go into top down approach. And every time you go solve, we try to find a problem, we had a context with it. So if you have a creation form, you have a context that this form is used very frequently on the platform. It has some really bad IA issues, and we need to solve them ASAP in order to make the creation process more easy for the learning products. And then the next problem we face is the vents. So engineering pipeline is already blocked. They are working on a lot of features. They are working on a lot of products. They have release cycle fixed. How do we fit our changes into it? This is the first question we ask. We have a list of components made, ready to be shipped, ready to be picked up. How do we do that? But the second thing we face is the deadlines and urgency. Everything we design, we think it's urgent. We think we need to ship it early, we need to make it early. But from the engineering perspective, there are some architecture changes, there are some uh, uh, back end changes, and all those things. How do we incorporate our front end changes to them? How do we ask them to update their component library with the designs we have made? So these are the questions we ask internally with our team, and we are still in that process, like how, when do we pick up things. So this is how we are scaling the component library for us. And the last thing is, whenever there's a problem, whenever they are picking up stuff, we want to encourage the reach out fast, resolve fast approach. Every time you have come up with a problem, just reach out and resolve the confusion as soon as possible with the devs. And the last thing is, how are we scaling the design system? So you have a lot of buttons, you have like 600 types of buttons, and you want to do a UI revamp. It is a very meticulous process from the design perspective and devs perspective. They have to go and change each and every type of button. Every button has a different padding, every button has a different hover state, every button has a different loading state. So this is a meticulous process. We need to have a strong bond with the devs who are making it, who are working on it, and we have to get our hands dirty, because it requires it is a meticulous process. But we once it is done, it is like making our project 10x better. This is the kind of value we want to encourage the devs to do it. So you are working on it, you are want to revamp something, you need a good pitch to the devs, like why are we doing this, and why should they get their hand dirty and spend so much time changing just one button, right? And whatever is there, whatever we ship, we just use the hashtag all details matter. uh, so this is the principle we use it, like every time you test something, every time you ship out something, every detail should matter, every word should have a good meaning, every variant should have a proper name, and all that. And while doing that, working on design system, or while working on handoff processes, like when I'm working alone or the devs are working alone, you should have a good design system playlist on, always with a good music. We have at Learn we made a really good playlist, and we encourage that people bond on music and stuff. Yeah, and these are my 2 cents on how to like smoothen out the handoff process, and how to have a good bond with devs, and how as a designers we can be more empathetic towards our devs as we are to our users. Yeah, that is all.
Perfect. That was a great talk, Pooja. We
Thank
have a
you.
question for you in the chat.
Yeah.
Nand Kumar has asked, how design impacts on testing of the product, which in turn improves the overall development process.
Okay, so we at Learn usually try to have a design review process at the once the product are released on staging, before they go on prod. Once they are on staging, we get a link. We review the designs. We review all the things we have made. We review all the flows, and we communicate it to devs right on in the review process only. This is the kind of process addition we have done at Learn, so that the product we put out, we also know what we have done. So usually when we don't do the design review, it's like we have designed something, we have talked to the devs, they have done something, they push it on prod by after the QA test. It goes on prod, and we see there are a lot of spacing issues, a lot of UI issues, and a lot of flows issue. So this is the kind of addition people can do during their handoff processes or during the testing processes, like involve a designer during the test when the things go on staging. And like do a quick test of you have Chrome, you have inspect element, you can check the spacings, you can check the tokens. And the devs are very helpful, they usually tell you how to test things, how to make small tweaks during the production only. So this is how you can have a good impact.
Amazing, amazing. Pooja, it was really nice to hear the ins and outs of how design actually works with engineering and how
Yeah.
you design all these different design systems. Folks, I just wanted to spam the chat with Pooja OP because that was
Hmm.
such a great talk.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pooja. We'll catch you later. Thanks
Yeah.
again for dropping by. Um,
My
awesome,
pleasure.
awesome,
Thank you.
perfect. Cool then, folks. That was the first talk for today done. We'll now move on to our next speaker, and I'll quickly bring her on stage. There she is. Folks, uh, welcome Pratim in the chat. Hey Pratim, how are you?
I'm good, Ekant. Thanks for inviting me today, and I'm really excited for today's talk and the initial talk that I just attended Pooja's talk, and great stuff, good stuff happening on by head out here.
Thank you, thank you. I'll just quickly introduce Pooja. Um, my bad, that was the singing talk. I wasn't the host for the first one, so yeah, I won't count. Anyway, uh, so basically, Pratim is a full stack developer, and she's an upcoming developer advocate at Dasha.ai. She works with Java and Spring Boot, and she enjoys creating technical content and hosting podcasts. She
Yeah,
also has experience in product pitching and community building, and that's quite some roster, Pratim, that you've built up. Super excited for your talk. Yeah, over to you. You can just share your screen now.
sure. Just give me a second. I'm pulling
Yeah,
up
yeah.
my screen. Just a minute.
Where are you giving this talk from, Pratim, in the meanwhile?
I'm from Pune.
Go ahead.
Just a minute. Um,
Yeah, we can see your screen. I'll leave you to it now.
yeah, I hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yeah, it's visible, Pratim. You can go ahead.
Yeah. So first of all, hello to everyone who's joined in today, and I kudos to you guys. It's a Saturday, and you guys are still here, so it really talks about your focus and how much you're out there and to pick up whatever stuff that had head out has come out with to share with everyone. So today I'll be talking about build in public, and this topic is very very close to my heart because I have been through the whole process of building in public, and for me personally, this has been an amazing journey. So I'd love to share my insights and whatever I have learned from it. Let's go ahead. So I think for me, no presentation or no talk is ever can ever start without a story. So let me just give you a background story about me and how all of this started. I think 6 months back, till 6 months back, I was a normal. I won't say basic, sorry, a normal developer who enjoys her work and will just code through whatever tasks are given and make sure that the tasks are completed. Manager is happy, the team is happy, everyone is happy. Will do my own personal learnings and go through them. Will do stretch goals and everything. But we all were hit by the pandemic, and that was a pretty low moment for everyone of us. We did not have a lot of opportunities to go out and connect with people, and same for myself. I started feeling very low. My motivation levels were extremely low, and I would just complete the work that was given to me, and that's it. Just go back, scroll through Instagram, scroll through Twitter for what are the trends going on, and basic stuff. But I guess one of my friends around June told me that why don't you use social media to share your content? And I'm like, but I don't create any content. What am I going to share? So then he told me that, but you learn every day, right? I'm like, yeah, I need to learn so that I'm abreast with whatever technology tech stack that my company comes up with. So yeah, I have to learn every day. And then he said that, so that's it, whatever you're learning, just make sure you're sharing it with people. And then I had questions like, but why will people want to listen to me? Why would they want to see my content? It's pretty basic. Everyone is learning, everyone is coding. What is different in it? And I think that's where the whole journey started for me. And that was my first step into the world of build in public. So I think these are the pretty basic questions that came to my mind before when I started my journey through build in public. And I'm pretty sure if anyone on today is thinking of starting their journey and sharing their content, they're also going to have these set of questions which are very obvious. So let's take one question and break them down and see how this is going to be helpful to each and everyone who's joined in today. The very first question that I asked my friend and myself is, what's in it for me? Why should I be doing it? And what will I get through it? To talk about it, build in public, what basically build in public means is that whatever you are learning or you are creating, you just share it with the people, you share it with the community that you're a part of. It literally means, the three words are pretty obvious and in what they mean, like build in public. Be it a basic project that you're building, be it a UI, be it a website that you're building, share every step, share your growth with public, share it with your community, so that people will learn as well as you're learning. That's one of the basic outputs that you get from building in public. And secondly, other people, like we know that a lot of social media platforms are right now the best platforms for getting any kinds of opportunities. So anyone who's out there who's looking out for people, hardworking people, or people who know what they're doing properly, I think this is the best way to reach out to them, by showing what you're doing for them. That's with what's in it for me. I think the question what's in it will in it for me will be answered throughout this talk. So make sure you take your understandings from it. And so another question regarding build in public that a lot of people have asked me is, how much time do I have to invest in it, and what kind of commitment does it take from my side? Well, to talk about time, building in public is nothing out of the way that you will be doing. And if you're doing it that way, then it's probably something wrong that is happening from your side. Because build in public basically means that whatever you are doing, you just share. You do not have to go out of your way and do something that is not aligning with your timeline or is disturbing your work. So, for example, if I was some days back, like a few months back, I was learning JavaScript because I majorly work in Java and Spring Boot. But I wanted to learn JavaScript. So, what I used to do was daily, whatever I used to learn, what uh, takeaways I had from that day's learnings, I used to just cut it down and make a short summary out of it and share that on my Twitter. That way I was answerable to myself. I could keep a check on what was my growth happening daily. And I guess that is so nothing I what the maximum amount of time that I had to put into it was 30 minutes daily. That whatever, after I finished my learnings, I used to just collate everything and convert it into a summary and share it with everyone online. Well, so that's in terms of how much time do you have to invest in it. And so, what is the ROI? What are the return on investments that you could get through building in public? Well, this is a very broad question, and the ROIs are in all terms in the sense of I personally get job offers and a great amount of offers in different fields and different opportunities because I have a presence online. I have built myself an audience and I have built connections. So I think there isn't any better return on investment than that, which it directly helps you with your career. And secondly, it also helps you in terms of monetizing whatever content that you're writing or creating. You can literally monetize that once you have a good audience who actually believes in your content. So that is one of the most important things in terms of ROI. And the continuing point, like, can I make money through this? Then absolutely, you can make money through this. I'd just like to give you a small example. There is an incredible and talented person on Twitter named Savio Martin. I'd ask you guys to go and check him out. He is 14 years old. He is literally 14 years old, and he is making himself a good living, a very great living out of just building apps, sharing them on Product Hunt and Twitter, and monetizing them. So recently, one of his apps were taken by another company. They were and that made him a huge amount of money. So imagine if a 14-year-old can do this. I'm pretty sure all of us can do that. So monetizing through building in public is the thing that is happening right now, and pretty much everyone out there is doing that. Well, and while just the because we're talking about social media here, and the fact that all of this is happening on social media, a lot of people came up to me and said, "Hey, Pratim, I feel that this is getting a bit addictive, and this is affecting my mental health. I end up spending a lot of time on Twitter, be it on LinkedIn. How do you what do you do about that?" Well, everything can be addictive. We are pretty much sure about that. Like, everything can be addictive, but if we know what you want through this, if you know what is your end goal and where to stop, I'm pretty sure this will just be like work, but hobby, like something. It could really turn into your hobby, something that you do for some amount of time during your day. But if you do it right, I'm pretty sure it won't be addictive. And well, the last question, like before talking about the whole build in public culture, is this for everyone? And I'll be going against the whole public opinion where everyone says that, hey, build in public is so awesome, literally anyone can do. But I personally feel it is not for everyone. It only, well, if you like this way of communicating with people, if you like approaching people, or if you're of this intent that you want to work on your networking skills, you want to work on your communication skills, I think build in public is a very is one of the best ways to go ahead. But if you are someone who's comfortable with your jobs, comfortable working whatever tasks you have, and you like to be to yourself, I think you've already got it sorted, and you're good to go then. Basically, the building public is a choice, and it's not something mandatory, I feel. And you shouldn't get on the FOMO just because everyone else is doing that. Yeah, so let's go ahead to the next slide. Well, I cannot see the chat section right now because my whole thing is full screen right now. But I will get back to the questions once I am done with my presentation. I hope that's okay. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. We tackle the
Great,
question
cool. Yeah. So what is all about? What is this like? What is build in public about? What are the major factors that you need to know while you're building in public, and what can make sure that you will, I won't say a success, but what can make sure that you will have a this will be helpful to you, and this will be fruitful, the whole effort that you're going to put into it. So basically, it's all about the C's. First is the content, second is the consistency, third is creativity, and fourth is connections. Well, with content, I'm talking about what material you're putting out in public, what material will the audience see, what material will your connections read, and what content you're putting out for everyone to learn through or read through. uh, Content is the biggest factors, because if your content is right, if it is good quality content, anyone and everyone would like to be a part of your journey. And because in the end, no one wants to waste their time reading through something that is already available or something that is spammy. So making sure that your content is short, crisp, and engaging is very important. Now, while I'm talking about content, it's not that you have to go out of your, as I said initially, you have to go out of your way and do something just for the sake of sharing it with the audience. But whatever you've learned, you just put it in a presentable way and a bit of a catchy way. Like, this is also if you're up to it. Like, if you want to make your content look presentable, you can always present it in a more catchy and an eye-grabbing way. So that is, content is the god, you can say. Like how we say customer is the god, I think content is the god. Another is consistency, you being present every single day. When you're building in public, there are programs like 100 days of code, or women who code, or hackathons, 30 days of code. What really matters is you consistently coming and being present on every single day. And be it so it's not necessary that you should be putting out content daily, because obviously it could be very exhausting, and not everyone is not creative every single day. But you can always go back and refurbish your old content, or you can share about someone else's content, or you can just show up every single day, because in the end it is all the hustle, everything is about showing up every day. So that's about consistency. Third, we're going to talk about creativity. Why should someone be a part of your journey? Why should they follow you, or why should they like they be a part of your build in public journey? Well, you have to bring something different to the plate. You have to create your own niche so that people follow you particularly for your type of content. So for basically, if you guys are on Twitter right now, and when anyone talks about Docker, the first name that comes is Francesco. So Francesco is a creator in the whole Docker, and he is basically known for his Docker content. Like, and if you're talking about JavaScript, there are loads of content creators doing awesome work with JavaScript. So you need to know what, it's going to take time obviously, but you need to know what you're good at, and what uh, you will be sharing with your audience. And lastly, the very last but not the least at all, the very most important C is the connections. Personally, for me, in your initial days of build in public, a lot of people won't really care about you or what you're doing. But what really stood out for me and helped me was building good connections, and building these connections via social media. When I started my journey on Twitter, I literally did not know anyone. But this is going to seem very weird and awkward for people who think they are introverts, or who have an issue reaching out to people. I remember literally reaching out to 100 influential and 100 creative people on Twitter. I personally DM'd single one of them, telling them, "Hey, I'd like to connect with you." Obviously, you should never forget to be kind and polite, because there is an ask that you put forward, that you want them to connect with you, you want them to help you. So it's very important for you to be kind. But if you don't ask, the answer is always going to be no. So make sure you get a best shot out, and you connect with the right connections, connect with the right people, connect to the people from your community, because during the course of your journey, they are obviously going to help you bring your content on a bigger platform. And it's always good to know people from your field, because as everyone knows, networking is one of the biggest hidden tools that is going to boost your career. So yeah, so that's all about the 4 C's that we have. Let's talk about the next slide. Well, so what, now that we have spoken about everything, let's talk about the action points. And what if you have to, if literally today you have to start your build in public journey, what should you be doing? Well, I am a technical person, and our hackathon and everything is pretty technical. So I will be talking from a technical perspective. But let me know if you want to have a non-technical view, if you want to know the non-technical viewpoint to this, or how it would be for a non-technical person. Well, although it will be mostly same, it's just that the tools that I have mentioned won't be the same. So let's get started with each one of them. I think the slide is pretty clear and pretty self-explanatory about what you need to do in for you to start your build in public journey. So if you're a, and I don't think you need to be a newbie developer, or you need to be someone who's just starting out your career. be at any point at you in your career, you can take up the build in public journey. Literally, I know people, who I know Michael. So Michael is one of my friends, and he is around 50. I think he's around 60, and he started his build in public journey at this age. And so it doesn't really matter if you're a working dev, if you're a newbie dev, if you're a grad. Literally anyone who wants to share their content and wants to have a public presence can start with this. Let's see how what is the most basic and the most workable path that you can have to get started your journey. So in terms of your work and your portfolio, it's very important for you. So if you're a developer who's into coding, and well, all developers are into coding. But if you're looking for having yourself a profile, the first some basic things that you can do is by starting your own GitHub profile, and making sure that you have good amount of contribution to GitHub, making sure that you're contributing to open source projects. And the most important thing, like I remember Danny Thompson once told me that literally what you can do is build yourself your public profile, like build a website that literally talks is your resume. It's pretty old now to have basic resumes and sharing that with any company that you're applying to. Well, everyone out there, the competition is pretty cutthroat, as we all know. So what could be the best possible way to give it your best shot? Well, building your own website as your resume, that's pretty basic, that you should be doing if you want to stand out from the crowd. And I think GitHub helps you do that in a very easy manner. You can always check out different GitHub profiles that are available and build yourself a basic website. Another way which I have been following and has been worked very well for me is building yourself a profile on Twitter. Well, I'm going to take time on this particular topic because this is where I have found the most success. I'm not sure if success is the right word, but I have found the most connections, and it has worked wonders for me. So Twitter, for a lot of people, Twitter is a very, very tricky game. Like I remember people coming up to me and saying, "Dude, how are you doing it?" Like you have people who are engaging with you. People like your content. What is the secret? Well, I'll be honest, there isn't a secret, and everything that you see does take time. It does take some amount of investment, and only then you get a return on the investment. So if you want to start with your whole Twitter journey and sharing your content on it, there are some basic points that you should be following. And there are amazing ebooks out there by some influential people that you can always go and read them. And I have read them. So this is I'll be, whatever I'm sharing, this is something that is common to all ebooks or all the content available out on Twitter. So most importantly is, first of all, having good connections, following the right people. It's very important that you follow right people and you stay away from the clutter. By clutter, I'm using a very strong word here, but by clutter I mean something that does not align with your interests, your fields, and would stray you it would astray you from what you actually want to follow. So make sure you're following the right people, and then learn from their content. So what I did, I personally liked Oliver Jumper's content a lot. He is someone who posts good content about JavaScript. Each and every thread of his, or each and every post of his is about one JavaScript application or one JavaScript function, and he literally breaks it down. So, and what is his so when I was initially talking about creativity or how can you add your personal touch, so talking about Oliver, what is his personal touch is what he does is, he has his own template which he uses, and he shares the code snippets what he comes up with in those templates, and they are so readable, they are so easy to understand that even if you're scrolling through Twitter on, say, you're just sitting and just scrolling for as for time pass, you can say, but even through that one scroll, if you come across his post, you're going to learn that function. He makes it that simple. So that is one of his MVPs, that he makes code very readable and understandable to every single person out there. So that's in terms of content. And some other things is that when someone is going to your profile, when someone is clicking on your profile, uh, your bio or your first pinned tweet should basically sum up everything that you do and you will be providing to the audience. So if you go to my Twitter profile, my bio says that what I do, what I like doing, and what I'm good at. And the first pin tweet is something that I am really proud of myself for, which is that the AWS reinvent grant that I got. So that is my pin tweet. So for anyone, whatever you think that is something that stands out for you, you can always put that as your pin tweet, because your pin tweet talks a lot about you. It basically gives a first glance to a person who's coming to a profile. And well, you always have an option of sharing different links, so you can make sure to attach your profile links, be it the GitHub or any portfolio that I've created. That is the best way to share it on your Twitter bio. Another thing is lead code. Now, for developers who love competitive coding and who want to have a career in software development, like in the legit software development area, having a good lead code score and having good submissions on lead code is, I think, there wouldn't be any other way to reach out to big top companies, because that's what they look for. Like if you're trying for Google, if you're trying for Facebook or any top companies, having a good lead code profile is very important. So yeah, that's about lead code, GitHub, and Twitter. And well, you can't just ignore LinkedIn. Although personally I am not a huge fan of LinkedIn because I find it very spammy with certificates and stuff, but we cannot ignore LinkedIn because it's been in the market since a very long time. Well, if you make sure that you are not a part of the spammy gang, and you put out content that is helpful, and you obviously, everyone uses LinkedIn to share their journey, to share their announcements. But if we keep it to minimal, crisp, and something that people can learn from, I think you can always utilize on LinkedIn too. So yeah, that's all about how you can start your journey about building yourself a profile. Another thing about how to exactly hack the Twitter game, or how can you make sure that your content is getting good engagement, how to make sure that people like your content. Well, I'll tell you, I can tell you from my personal experience. If new to this journey and if you've just started out on Twitter, you should focus more on connections and networking than putting too much effort into your content. Because while you're new, if you put like your 200 or 300% in your content, you will be literally wasting your energy, but that good amount of content will not be reaching that audience that it should have. What you can do is you can always have a content. So what I have is a content bank. I call it my content bank, where whatever ideas or whatever things that I'm learning, I just store it in my content bank, and I have a pretty good solid collection of content. And as and when I feel my audience is growing, or I am getting a good response, I post more good content or something that can reach a bigger audience, which deserves a big audience. But initially, if you put all your effort and write that one blog which you think is going to literally change the world, but if you don't have people to read it, it's you feel sad, because it's pretty obvious. I know we do it for ourselves, and content you're doing all that for your happiness and satisfaction, but come on guys, all of us want some amount of validation or some amount of applaud for the work that we put in. So make sure that if you're initially on Twitter, you focus more on connecting with the right people, DMing them, personally creating a connection with them, and then slowly you become a part of their connections, and basically build yourself a family. And then the family acts as a safety net. So whatever content the family helps you push it to a bigger audience. That is something that has worked for me, because I could basically connect with some people on Twitter, and half of my Twitter that I spend is basically learning from them. Well, one of the perks that I forgot to mention about build in public is great mentorship. You get to connect with people that you would have thought of connecting in your whole lifetime, and it's literally mind boggling to get to learn from their experiences and what they have to put out. But I personally remember when, so Ravin is one of my is a good friend of mine, and he's been mentoring me for a very long time, and every day I learn a lot from him, from his journey, and he gives me a lot of tips. So it's like, is personal mentorship from some really good and influential people, that is something you should always look out for. Well, it's not always going to be a thing where you just go out and ask for your asks or ask for help. I When you think that you're at a point of giving it forward or mentoring other people, that is something that you should do, because in the end, be it Twitter or be it any platform, the when we talk about followers are not, they are people. They are, so when I these people are the ones who support me. They are the ones who make sure that I am always seen. So it's very, very important that you respect every connection of yours, and you put out you are always there to help and give. So basically, there's this whole saying that is there in our whole community, is give, 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 and then ask. So make sure you're the one who's first putting out unity, and then putting and having your ask then. Now I think that's a lot that I've spoken a lot of the platforms, but to be honest, Twitter is a platform which can change lives, because if you use it in the right way, you can always go and be a part of the whole trend and the negative media. But if you use it to your benefit, Twitter is literally life changing. To talk about my specific, I won't say the strategy, but my how I put content is, I basically like having hosting podcasts and spaces. So every weekend I have someone I feel can help the community grow on my podcast, on my Twitter. I pose them a set of questions which I think I'm pretty sure everyone will be having. So with them, the community. So basically, last time I had Wrong is the CEO of Showcase, and everyone wants to know how is a startup CEO how is he handling stuff. And he was someone from who came from a very, basically he's a self-taught developer. He do it, and just like these help people understand the point of they wouldn't have ever come up. So for me, my niche is podcast, my niche is anchoring, and as well as the so everyone should, it's going to take time, but make sure you find niche and start putting out content, be it in terms of blogs, open source. Open source is, I think, one of the best ways to start contributing to GitHub and making sense in the community, because there are a lot of startups, there are a lot of companies who hire people, seeing the amount of, it also opens up a lot of opportunities in the side of having scholarships or sponsored. Well, it's a never ending thread, I can say. And one other I'd like to talk about is the 100 days of code. Is if you are learning any new technology, the best way and if you're new on the platform, the best way to go ahead is with the 100 days of codes. It helps you come up with a good consistency, and it brings you good amount of attention, because it's not easy, but and there is so and so person who's learning this, and that gives you an entry into the whole community. Let's go. Now that I have told you, I'd like to tell you about how Twitter changed things for me. Well, I'm a developer basically as a profession, but I always passion about connecting with fellow developers and connecting bigger audience and catering for a product that I really love. I go by saying that I'm a product person. I love talking about products. I love going out. I make, or if anyone from my team has basically evangelized about the product. And because of this, so I think around one of my dearest friends, Twitter friend, Mudu, so she reached out to me, aligning with my goals, and yeah, that's it. So the next thing I know, I was on a call with Vlad, our CEO. We had great chat about how I could help the and how I would be a great fit for the product. And the cut short today, I'm about to I'm gonna be this I'm gonna call this my something that I've been really passionate about and I have been enjoying so far. So yeah, cut short today, I will be soon joining Dasha as a developer advocate, and so far it's been extremely exciting, the whole experience. Just so that you guys, well, now that I'm a developer advocate, it would be literally illegal for me to not talk about my own product. So we at Dasha, we are a conversation service platform, and with our platform, you can literally integrate voice with any kinds of applications, be it a smart conversational app or desktop, for literally voice phones, and even call centers. So Dasha has been kicking it in the whole conversational AI area, and if you guys want to check out, you can go to our website, and it takes literally, I think, if all you need to JavaScript, and you're good to build your first conversational AI app. That's all I have from my side today. I am now open for questions if there are any.
Hey Pratham, that was an amazing talk. We do have a couple of questions in the chat for you. One of them
Well,
was,
I hope.
yeah, one of them was by me. So basically, what were some initial things that
Okay.
you built or learned in public?
Okay. Yeah. So for me, I wasn't a web person at all. I have always worked on APIs. I've worked on the back end, and I literally had. I remember just learning CSS and JavaScript in my very initial college days, and after that, I had completely given up on the whole web development side. Seeing the whole on Twitter about web development, I was perceived that I should also learn web development. So CSS, literally CSS and anime CSS is something that I built. I started sharing the content. So my first tweet that went viral was literally a joke that this is what I made with CSS. I know it's very common, but it was the first tweet that gave me my small moment of, say, visibility. And I went ahead to create some animations using CSS and JavaScript, and then basically I understood that there is a big gap in the whole in terms of understanding basic differences between technologies. And from then onwards, I majorly now write threads and blogs around what are the major differences between two technologies that seem very similar. Like the most recent thread that I wrote was how people confuse between GitHub, GitLab, and Git, basically. So what is the major difference between these three platforms? So yeah, these my first thing, to just sum it up, I think CSS animation is something that I created for the first time on Twitter.
Amazing. We have one other question. This one's from Nand Kumar, and he asks, "Can you
Okay.
suggest any particular kind of content that one can build in public in order to get enough attention, which will then motivate them to contribute more?"
Okay, yeah, that's a great question. Nandakumar, I think if first of all, my it depends. Like if you which is web development, the community for web development on Twitter is amazing. It is to a point everyone and literally anyone who is in the space of web development can can get good visibility on Twitter. But I feel you stick. It's something if the tech stack is old, but if you stick to something that you think good at, that will give you a better shot at getting enough attention. But looking towards learning something, thing in always give you good visibility on tech Twitter. But stick to what you think you want to learn. Only then it will be a good experience. I feel you will feel stressful about it and it will be like work, because for me this is something that is something that helps me escape. It's like a hobby to me, a hobby that pays me well also, you can say. That's something I'll suggest. Stick to what you like and build around it rather than running behind something that's popular. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Pratim. Thanks once again for that amazing talk. There are so many people that actually want to build an online presence, an online brand, but don't know how to go about doing that, right? So I'm sure your talk would help them a lot. In fact, even at Headout, we're trying to inculcate a culture where we talk more about the work that we're doing, right? So we have amazing people working on some amazing things, but we don't necessarily talk about it a lot in public. And I'm pretty sure this talk will motivate more of us
Right.
to do that. So thank you for your time. Thanks for that amazing talk. Yeah, see you next time.
it, yeah, and I had a great time. Thanks a lot for me on the panel, and looking forward to whatever up with. And I'm gonna check out your app. Like I've just installed it and it seems really awesome. Good work, guys. It's good to always connect and collaborate.
Perfect, perfect, amazing. Thanks. Glad that you liked it.
Thank you.
Cool. We'll catch you later. Uh, awesome, awesome. Whoa. With that, we come to the final talk of the day, and we've saved a very special talk for the very end. Um, I'll just bring our next speaker on board. There she is. Hey, Kushi, how are you?
Hello, hi. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So basically, I'll just quickly introduce Kushi to the world. And so Kushi is a talented visual designer and photographer, and she's currently working as a visual design intern at Headout. And very recently, she did some incredible work with Hackout. And I wouldn't dive too deeply into that. I'll let Kushi do that. But yeah, super excited for this talk. Kushi, the stage is yours.
All right. Thank you. Okay, I'll just share my screen. I hope everything's visible. So I'll start with what actually Hackcat is and the whole design process behind it. So Hackcat is the mascot for Hackout 2021, and it is actually a very rare NFT that you will be owning after you get it mint. And these have like they're rare. They have rare traits and their rare properties, and all of them are like pretty cute. So let's start with the whole thing. So how it all started was like the initial thinking process was that we'll just start by creating a mascot for event, and it wasn't the NFT thing that I was told about. So we thought that we'll go one step ahead from that and work on the NFTs, and I think that was a risk that was actually worth taking. So now, why did we use cats? As I asked my other colleagues as well. So according to Vikram, the cats are cool. And according to Anurag and Somesh, who are the engineers at Headout, they say that we like chonk. So that is how we decided that, yeah, let's go with the cats. So the first step that we did was Anurag provided with a rough sketch of what kind of thing that he had in mind. And it was initially not going to be a cat. It was like a mixture of some creature, alien kind of a thing. But everyone figured that it looks like a cat, so we'll just go with it. And then I digitalized it on Illustrator and got these rough drafts as what it could look like, but like there were of course a lot of issues in it because this was just like 5 or 10 minutes work in the starting. Going forward, this was the first mood board that has been created for Hackcat because I was very new to the NFT world and didn't really know how everything goes and how everything works, like what kind of illustrations are needed, what the backgrounds will be, what the features will be, like traits will be. So this was like some of the NFTs that I looked up on and see, okay, these are the kind of features that they have, these are the kind of poses they can have, the whole features, the traits, the backgrounds, and of course a lot of cats to see what kind of like emotions you can portray through a face, or what kind of paws do they have, or like the ears and everything, the colors, the ginger gray, and etc etc. So going forward from that, this was the second draft, and as you can see, the first one that I created was actually inspired by that meme uncle that we have in the Pakistan, and everyone rejected it, but I like this idea a lot, so I just kept it in there. And then these were like the some of the other examples that we had, like this was a 1.1, just made a little change the tail a little bit to see that it might look good, or maybe going to another one, changing the body, the face, because face was already fixed that this is how the face is going to look because everyone already liked that idea. Going to the third one, you can see it has a little feminine figure, and of course then I tried maybe going a little bit from with the chonky version because everyone said that I like chonk. So got it, that is, and all the people said that this wasn't chonky enough. So going forward, this has to be added, like we needed way more chonk than we needed, and of course Anurag provided with a very good reference of his cat, and that's how we got this. And moving forward, this was the final design that we thought would be going in forward with. And as you can see, like the colors had been put here, and you can see there's a little like dark colors, light colors, even the definition in the ears and everything. I thought this was going to be the final design, but of course it's a visual design thing, and we can't just get fixated on the first thing we make. So from normal hands, like giving a humanly feel to it, we had to go forward with the pause, as you can see, making it a little more cuter because we needed that alien and cat thing. We had to remove the humanly emotion from it. So going forward, this was the final design that we had, and you can see over here that we have three variations in the colors. One is the ginger, and these are the color palette for ginger. Now the second one is the gray, and we have the color variation for the gray as well. And going forward, we have the third one that is of the purples, because of course the head out and Hackout both have purple in it, and that's like our main color. Now, moving forward from that, we had, because it was an NFT, so we had to have a lot of traits, which would be in different colors, or it has to be different headgear or clothing, or like just props in normal thing. So we had like 7 layers in total, which kind of created, which like approximately created more than 10,000 PNCs of the Hackcats. And these were in these order, like the background, the body, the eyes, the bodywear, clothes, headgear, and props. Going forward, these were the backgrounds that we decided on because we needed a very cool feeling to the whole thing. We didn't want that something would be popping into your eyes or something like that. And you can see, like in the backgrounds, we have used the headouts color, and even again we wanted a very spacey theme because our main aim was that we need something which is related to a very sci-fi or like a very space kind of thing. So that is why we have chosen these specific colors. Going forward, as you can see, we had like created three variations even in the colors. The first one is going to be the green, the second is like the oceany blue, the third is the orange. And for the body wear, that is actually the eyewear that the cat will be wearing. The variations that we decided on was like the pirate patch, or the meme glasses, or the laser eyes, because as you see, we wanted to relate our NFTs to the memes that are going on. And in every second meme we see that there is a meme classes, or like there's some laser eyes or something like that. So we wanted to always keep that fun element in our illustrations and not just go all serious about it. Moving forward, I decided on making, like, at least we need, if you're creating a NFT, we I wanted our merch to be included in it as well. So these were the first two were the variations for the t-shirts that we would be having. One was, of course, the color of, again, the head out, because I had to keep it in mind that everything that was designed for the NFT should be in accordance with the color palette of head out and hack out, because it is our own in the end. Right. So this was like a pink hoodie that we had, and this was a blue hoodie. Then we also created a very ugly Christmas sweater, because of course Christmas is coming. And these were the headgears, and like we had to make multiple headgears, because we had to see that if the ears will fit, if the ears won't, like the whiskers will also not like coincide with the headgear or something like that. So what we decided on was, like, we'll maybe use a crown, and even in the crowns you can see the colors of head out has been used, and that has been used in almost all the elements, even in the headphones, or even in the mohawk that we have. This is a Daft Punk. These are like two hoods that we have for the hoodies, and this was a space helmet, because this theme we had was spacey theme with like cats and stuff. And going ahead, we had to include the props. So we have like three variations of props, like the bow ties, that is pink bow tie, then yellow and green, then red and black. And we piercings, which might not be visible over here, but like you'll be able to see it in the cats, like going forward. And this was a sugarcane, and this was a blade, and this was a wand that we had. And going ahead, this is how the whole process looks like. First the background comes, then the body, which is actually fixed, and then we include the eyes over it. This is the third layer. Then the fourth layer is the accessory, or like the body wear that we have, like for example the laser eyes, meme glasses, or the eye patch that we have. And the next one is of course putting on a cloth, like a hoodie or a jacket or t-shirt, whatever we have created. And next is the headgear. Last comes the prop, and this is how the whole final product looks like, with all the background and the props and clothing. Now everything was perfect, like everything was going pretty smooth, that okay, this is going to come over this is going to be over this, until we realized that there were some issues with the props. And like, let's say the space helmet was coinciding with the laser eyes, or the helmet was coinciding with the hoodie. Now the crown was also not fitting right on the hoodie. So these were some of the issues that we faced, and these, like, they were actually heavily uh, maybe disrupting the whole design, because these won't look good when you're like giving the finalized product. So how we tackled these all problems were that, rather than going with the whole hoodie, we divided the hoodie into two parts. Let's keep the hood and let's keep the sweatshirt in the second one. For these one, we had like special cases. So Somesh is the one who did all the coding regarding to this, and he made like some special cases that, okay, for these we will keep the variations in a different order, so that maybe it will look good, or maybe we'll just remove it. So he had to go through all those, that okay, we can't do this, we can have to select this one, or we can't go ahead with this one, this idea. So these were some of the problems that we faced during the whole process. And it was very like scary, because towards the end, when everything is getting final, and that is when you're facing the major issues, that the sizing could be incorrect, or the something would be incorrect in some way or the other. So this is the final product that we have, that I'm going to be showing you, and I'm like pretty excited for you everyone to see. So these are some of the whole designs that we have. As you can see, like this a hoodie in a very ugly Christmas sweater with a sugarcane and meme glasses. This cat has the piercing that I was talking about with the meme glasses and hoodies. This is like a Daft Punk with a hoodie. And like every illustration or every NFT that you see here has its unique traits. None of these have like, they look same in any way. Every cat has a different trait, so it can't be like copied or something like that. And I hope that you enjoyed the whole process about this. That is all.
Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. So that talk went so well. It was so fun watching the whole process. Like, I knew the whole process, and yet
Yeah.
it was so fun to watch that talk. And this is something that even Vikram said in the chat. Amazing stuff. How excited are you by the fact that you were able to do this as an intern, because this was a used job, right? I don't
Yeah.
know if you yeah, if you realize that this was a used job. I talked to a couple of my designer friends saw this, and they were like, was this really done by someone as young and as inexperienced as the person that you're telling me about? And so they were really surprised. But yeah,
This
amazing job.
was, thank you so much. Like, this was actually pretty scary because like Siddharth came up to me and he said, "Do you want to work on Hack Cats and do you want to work at Hackout?" And I was like, "Yeah." Okay. And I said, yes, definitely. Because I wasn't really expecting, okay, I'll be part of this whole event. And when I like started working, at times I was like so scared, okay, will I be able to do it? Will I be able to deliver the whole product? Because I even talked to some of the people that we work with, and everyone said that we weren't really expecting to see the entire product. We thought that you will just create one, two variations and we'll be done with it. But I was like so proud towards the end that, okay, I finally did something which actually makes some kind of like change and creates, like, it was pretty exciting to be part of it,
Yeah.
honestly. Yeah.
And if I'm being honest, so this was kind of a secret. Your hard work and the amazing work that you did kind of motivated the rest of us to make sure that this thing goes live, because we hadn't even started writing the contract. Somesh hadn't started working on the
Oh.
generative code, and we were like, yeah, this is too ambitious of a project. We probably won't be able to finish it off. But then you came along, you did all of those designs, and we were like, if we don't do it, she's gonna kill us, because she's
Yeah,
putting
definitely.
because she's putting in a lot of work in it. And then so we completed the contract. We Somesh did the generative code thingy, and amazing. Thanks a lot for that talk, Kushi. I'm pretty
Thank you.
sure, yeah, this will be talked about for a long time.
I hope.
uh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Amazing. Cool. Catch
I'll
you
try.
later. Catch you
Okay.
later
Thank
then. Folks, so we have one quick talk by Mr. Somesh Kohli, by our very own Somesh Kohli. I just put him on. So Somesh is the person who worked with the Hashlips library and generated all of these different NFTs. And yo, Somesh, how are you doing now?
Yeah, hi Gansh. I'm doing well.
Cool. I'll leave you to it. Uh, Talk about the work that you've done. Yeah, the stage is yours.
So initially, big kudos to Khushi to actually pulling this off. None of us, Gansh said that none of us expected that it would become a thing at the end, and we were like experimenting to like how it turns out. So a big kudos to Khushi and great work by her. So now comes the next part of the entire NFT thing where we have generated it. Now we have the trades, we have the designs. Now how to put it together and deploy it to the place where people can view it or people can
So much
actually use it.
sorry to interrupt you, but your video is off, I think. Can people in the chat confirm, or is it just my network? Uh,
Mm, it's probably on, I guess.
cool. I'll just check on YouTube. Go on.
Yeah. So the next step comes when we actually want to like put it somewhere where people can actually see it and use it and treat it as an NFT. Now, in this, the first step becomes how to actually create images from the trades that were generated by our designs and how to properly put the layers together. So I'll start by sharing my screen and give you a quick glimpse of how we were doing it. So these as you can see my screen. So we started with using a library called Hashlips. So Hashlips are basically an organization which has this thing where they help to generate NFTs with the help of particular inputs and provide us with a list of NFTs that we define using a configuration. So in this, we provide a bunch of trades that we have. You can see we have background, and for all the backgrounds, we define the rarity. For all the body, we define the rarity, so on and so forth for all the trades that we have here. Then what we did was we defined a particular configuration that how we want to generate them and what should be the like resolution of the image, what should be the number of NFT that we want to generate, and other things. So these configurations were provided in this small configuration file, and once we make it run, it gives us a number of NFTs that we provided. Like you can see, I have generated around 100 NFTs here. All of them are unique in its own way. None of them are similar, and you can see how things turned out to be very surprisingly very pretty, I'd say, and it turns out to be a sort of a, what I don't have words for this. So it turns out very pretty, and we didn't expect this to happen. So as of now, the generation part was done. Our NFTs were ready. The NFT images were ready. Now what we had to do is put it into a contract and deploy it on a test network. For this, we had to deploy a smart contract which implements Ethereum ERC 721, which is for NFT specifically designed. So these are some of the, I'd say, implementations that Ethereum provides us to like properly build a smart contract for NFTs. So in this, we create a function which basically takes the URI of our metadata and creates a mint for it and assigns it to the owner of the NFT using the metadata of it. So this was the entire process in which we generated multiple NFTs, created a contract for it, and then deployed. For deployment purposes, we were using Hardhat, which is sort of a suite for Ethereum development, in which you uh, give them your configuration required to deploy, and it automatically deploys everything to the test network. As a result, what we see in real life is a NFT deployed here. You can see it here, the Hackcat. I had deployed one of the editions here. And you can see this was one of our Hackcats that we had deployed, and with all of its properties listed down here. In this way, we are going to mint around 1,000 NFTs, 10,000 NFTs, open for all. Everyone can build it. We have also opened all of our resources to public so that they can like generate their own traits, send it over us, and we will uh, help them to like we will include them into our collection. So yeah, this was the entire flow of how we how we complete this entire thing and pulled it off. We didn't really expect this to become a thing by the end, but thanks to Kushi, thanks to Vikram for his continuous guidance, and we pulled it out successfully.
Perfect, perfect. Awesome. Thanks for that quick lightning talk, Sumesh. I like how deciding to build the Hackcat collection was a big learning experience for most of us, for many of us. So, for example, Kushi got to undertake that huge design project, right? You got to work with Hashlips and work on generative art code, right? I also dabbled a little bit with Solidity, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah, so basically I guess it has been a great experience. It was a great experiment, uh, and at Hackout we'll continue innovating. Again, thanks for the talk. We'll catch you later, folks. You can catch Khushi and Sumesh in Hackout's Discord. um, cool. We'll see you later, Sumesh.
Yeah, see you. Bye bye.
All right, folks, that brings us to the end of today's speaker sessions. Um, I hope you loved it. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Um, we'll catch you later. We have the final reviews tomorrow. Um, okay, we have a question. Just a second. Just a second. We have a question from Vikram. He's asking what are some challenges that we faced in the whole process of generating the NFTs. Sumesh, are you still here?
Yep.
Cool, cool, cool. I'll put you on again. There you go.
Yeah, so to answer your questions regarding what were the challenges that we faced while working with Solidity. So I'm a guy who has worked with Solidity in past around 3 years back, and sort of got like on off-road from it. So jumping back on Solidity was a huge like drastic change for me, because things were changed so much, things were improved so much, there were so many new things that had to catch up with it. So initially Solidity was so rapidly developed that every version was not compatible with the previous one, but now since Solidity has become so stable that we can actually work on it, it was a great improvement for me. Next problem that we faced was during testing it locally and testing it on a remote network. So testing locally was pretty straightforward. We had used Hard suite to like deploy a local node and then test our contracts on top of it. But testing it for on a remote network was pretty tedious, because we have to take care of about test like funds that we have in a wallet and how things properly flow there. So one of the biggest challenges that I faced was since uh, OpenSea only supports Ring-B, Polygon, and Ethereum for its like source of contracts. We didn't have enough funds to like test it out on the test networks, and I still don't have. I wanted to show you a demo of how entire flow works, but I didn't have enough testings there. So yeah, that was there. Regarding things where we were generating NFTs, regarding the blockers there. So uh, we had to like properly configure the rarity of each NFT and each trait, so that we can properly say that a particular NFT or particular trait is rare enough for uh, someone to be like show it to public. Didn't have funds on a test network, so basically I was using Ring-B for that. And as of now, Ring-B faucet are like too tough to be found anywhere. A proper Ring-B faucet is very tough. It was a good thing back then, but I looked for it so many places, looked, but I haven't found one good faucet which could provide me enough funds for testing purpose.
Cool, cool. Um, yeah, yeah. We'll probably try Robston next time. Wingby faucets were they they give a very less amount of test heat, and that too if you wait for 15 to 20 minutes. Uh, uh, you know, trying to get some test heat. Anyway, any other questions for Somesh, folks? Drop them in the chat.
Not such of a question, I'd say, but I wanted to like just say that Ekansh is just not our host. Ekansh was one of the person who was building the entire contract with me, and he was the one who was helping me out with almost everything. So big kudos to Ekansh there too. He sort of is underground in this entire case, but he was one of the brains behind this entire process. So thank you, Ishan. Thank you for all your work.
Yeah. It was a learning experience for me, man. I took it as a learning experience. Thanks for involving me. Cool then. Uh,
Right.
I I guess that's all that we have from Somesh today. Somesh, thank you for dropping by. We'll catch you in the Discord. Uh, Folks, um, it is somewhat of a bittersweet goodbye that I must say to you. But yeah, that is the end of Hackout sessions for this year. We'll come back again next year. The hackathon, of course, will conclude tomorrow. We are going to have some demos and final reviews and the demo presentations tomorrow. And we'll see you tomorrow. But the Hackout sessions will, of course, continue next year. Uh, Goodbye till then. Keep learning, keep doing epic shit, and yeah, we'll catch you later. See you. Bye bye.